This is Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon. Mitch Lafon.
Welcome to this special YouTube-only edition of Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon. Joining me on this episode from the band A Killer's Confession, it is singer Waylon Reavis. We talk about their most recent album and his time in Mushroomhead. There's a lot more, but let's just get right into this. Here is the one, the only, Waylon Reavis. We are speaking with vocalist Waylon Reavis of A Killer's Confession. Good day, sir. Pleasure to speak with you.
My pleasure. How are you doing today?
Good. And we have tried to connect this interview before, and we weren't successful, but now here we are, and I'm very much excited to talk about your latest album, which was Unbroken. But in fact, let's start with the future of the band, because Unbroken came out on April 28th, 2017. We are looking at 9 months roughly now.
Yes.
Have we started work on a second album? Are we thinking about that at this point, or are we still in the sort of touring cycle of the first one?
No, we're already started.
Okay.
We're doing 10 albums, 10 years.
Okay. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about the 10 album in 10 years. Because when you look back at Kiss and Sabbath and all those bands, it was 2 albums a year, and then they started to go into 1 album every 4 years. Talk to me about this goal of 10 albums in 10 years.
It's just the fact I've done the album every 4 years for the last, decade. And I got 3 albums out in 12 years. And it's just, it's not worth it to me. It's just like, what's the point? It's not the same industry. People are more, I want it now. You've got to stay relevant somehow, and the only way to stay relevant is to keep writing music and to keep staying relevant and keep pushing forward. Like we just released Unbroken 9 months ago. Well, I've just already released 2 brand new singles, I Wish and Angel on the Outside, on my own. Not even released those. The album came out in April, and I had 2 new releases in November.
So talk to me about putting those ones out. Why not keep them for an album?
No, because what's the point? Nobody's really going to buy the album anyway. That's just how it is. Nobody pays for music anymore. You got Spotify, and you get it. It's to stay relevant. Now it's a fight because people and the way the industry is, they will change you out like their underwear. I'm serious. Like everybody's moving on to the next thing. That's why we don't have another Metallica, and we don't have another, Guns N' Roses or Aerosmith or anything like that. It's because the way the industry is, it's in and out. It's next thing, next thing, next thing. And if you want to be the next thing, you got to keep pushing new stuff down the throat, because once people heard it, they're done with it. That's kind of how it works.
Right.
Especially with the underground.
Well, okay, so talk to me then about building a new band and building a new brand, because you did come from Mushroomhead, and it did have its following, and it did have its sort of name appeal. Talk to me about sort of going out there and making A Killer's Confession that next new thing, whether it's the mainstream or the underground. What is sort of the plan to get the band moving forward?
It was the fact that I had took time off. I took a year off after Mushroomhead. And it's what I do. I've done it for 25 years. It's kind of in my blood, It's like one of those things. I don't do it. It's like I don't really feel fulfilled. And when I put A Killer's Confession together, it was so fast. And like you said, Tom Hazard and David Ellis stepping in and really helping out and get the ball rolling with us. I brought in Brian Welch from Korn to help with the first single. It just, it was, everything was the right place, right time thing to make this band happen as quickly as it did. Because most of the time, it will not happen this fast for anybody. It's just like, it was boom, boom, boom. And we already had a single out. We were signed with Tom within a week of putting it together. I mean, really, it was that fast. And it was just right place, right time. But I knew in my mind what I was doing. I was like, this is what I'm writing about. This is what it's going to be. This is how it's going to be. And, oh, well, we'll see what happens. Top deal.
Now, is A Killer Confession a band, or is it your project where you're really sort of the guy and it's everything comes down to you? How do you sort of see it?
It's a little bit of both. Like musician-wise, it is a band, but like with vision and like where we're going imagery and like concept-wise, it's me.
Now, the EMP label, which of course is run by Dave Ellison of Megadeth, Talk to me about that relationship, and what does the band and that name of Ellison bring to the project and bring to the ability to get the music out to the fans?
Well, we just did a one album deal with EMP, and Unbroken will be the only album that come out. Tom understood that I was shooting for something else with this, but he also understood he'd always been kind of a fan of what I had done in the past, and he wanted to see me get back on feet. And he knew that what I was going to be going for would not really be in the MP style of how they do things, and they gave me full control of like this project. They knew it was my baby, but they just wanted to give me that gentle push back into the industry. I can't say thank you enough to him.
Yeah, he really did. Now, um, you have talked about these 10 albums in 10 years. Musically, do you see that the album's expanding in terms of creative output, in terms of musical style, or do you want to sort of stick to we have a sound, this is our sound, or do you want to get into more of a rock album or a more industrial sound or a more even death metal sound?
We're going to do whatever is laid in front of me. If it fits if it touches me and moves me, it could be a country song. We're going to do it. We're A Killer's Confession. The best thing about being in this group is there is no limitation to what we're going to do. I'm not going to be put into a style of music. Music's music, and in my opinion, if it doesn't move you, it's not worth listening to. And that's really, I'm not trying to go rock. I'm not trying to go thrash. I'm not trying to. If it is what it is, and it moves me at that moment in time, it will be. But if not, it'll hit the cutting room floor like everything else.
Oh, that's great. Now, my show is on the Jericho Network on Westwood One, and of course, that is a wonderful professional wrestler. You have had your brush with professional wrestling.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, talk to me about the return to the pro wrestling rampage and the sport, and also sort of the theatrics of it all, and just what it is to be sort of because it really is sort of performance art. I know it's a sport, but it's performance art, right?
It's amazing. Like I've always been a huge fan of professional wrestling. Always, like since I was a little kid. My dad, on his deathbed, he swore to me I thought he was going to be a wrestler because I'd never think he'd go into music. He really thought I was going to be a professional because I loved it that much. And when I got the opportunity to step in that ring into the squared circle, it was the biggest honor. And I told the guys in the back, it's like, you treat me like anybody else. I said, I don't care where I come from. I'm stepping into your world. You treat me as such. And boy, did they did it. They did. They respected that. And I got the respect from my peers there. And I have more respect for wrestlers than most average people do, because I understand it's like they party like rock stars and then beat the damn dog crap out of each other every night. And I just like when I was there, and it was the entertainment and it was the pops and it was the same thing. It was going for the same thing, that performance art. And it made sense to me. And it was just a fun thing. Now, would I want to do it every single day? No, thank you. Those are tough and very, 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 very tough people. And I don't think I could handle it, 7 days a week throughout the year. But to me, it was just, it was an amazing experience. And, I've been asked to get back into the ring again this year. And I'm thinking about it. But it's like I just think about the following 2 weeks where I'm licking my wounds.
Well, and I don't want to sound like a homer, but when you look at Chris Jericho, what he does with Fozzy, and then what he does with the professional wrestling, concurrently at the same time, in the morning he's in wrestling and at night he's at the bar. I just don't understand how he does that. I mean, I think
I don't either.
Right, mere mortals would pass out just at the thought of it.
Yes, they would. My hat's off to him. It's like, especially, it's like, I mean, I'm not even lying. It hurts. It hurts bad. And I mean, it's fun. I find a fulfillment. It's like a childhood dream to get in the ring and do this. But at the same time, you're putting yourself at risk, and your body's taking some punishment. And for him to be able to do that and then turn around and do a show, my hat's off to you, son. I couldn't do it. I could not do that. That was just, the first time I got in the ring, I dislocated my thumb within the first couple minutes of the match. Yeah, I went to do a arm drag and I spiked my thumb into the ring. Ooh, how my thumb hurts thinking about it. I'm not kidding either. It's like every time I think about it, I have to pop my thumb thinking about what I think about it. It hurts so bad. But they had run me through training so fast to get me in the ring. They forgot to tell me. It's like, yeah, keep your fist close. And I went in there, I spiked my thumb into the mat. And, oh my God, I felt so stupid. Well, but I'll never do that again. I will always keep my fist closed.
Yeah, I'm telling you, just listening to you talk about, or even watching what Chris does, it hurts. It hurts my shoulders, and I'm sitting in a couch.
Yeah, it does. It's like nobody really thinks. It's like, oh, they know how to fall. Well, I'm just gonna say it like this: gravity changes for no man. Nobody can change gravity 16 feet per second. It's not going to change. And you don't care. It's like the mat is not that soft and it's not that spring loaded. It still hurts. You're still taking that jolt to your body. And granted, yes, it's fun. It is a lot of fun, but it hurts. And I'm pushing 40 now. So when I do it, it's like, and Chris is older than I am, I do believe. And it's like, my body doesn't like rejuvenate like it used to. Now, when I was in my 20s, it was a whole different story. Now, it don't do that. now it's a couple weeks later, so that still hurts. So, but I definitely have been asked to get back in the ring and do a cage match this year. And I definitely have not written it off, if that tells you anything. That's how much I like doing it. So
that would
go ahead.
I was just going to say that would be fun to see, quite frankly. I think that'd be, for the lack of a better word, a hoot to see.
It would be. It's always fun. I usually do it in Erie, Pennsylvania for a buddy of mine, John McChesney. He's John McChesney and J-Rock and Raymond Rowe actually was one of my trainers. He just got signed into the WWE program. He just went to the power plant.
That's great.
I've been watching his Facebook, and I'm so proud of him.
Now, I know we're supposed to be talking music, but let me just ask you this, because you mentioned that your dad and you grew up with the wrestling. Who's sort of that one wrestler that you look back on in your life? Because, I mean, I grew up in the days of Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan and Rowdy Roddy Piper and the English Bulldogs. I mean, that's the school I came from. Who's that one guy for you? Is it, George the Animal Steele? Who's your favorite?
I'm from North Carolina. I'm from NWA country. We're talking the Horsemen, Tully Blanchard, Ric Flair, Barry Windham, Arn and Ole.
Sting, right? There was also a Sting.
Oh, Sting. Yes, Sting, of course. Lex Luger. I mean, I remember watching these guys wrestle in my YMCA back when I was a kid, the Rock and Roll Express, the Koloffs. Like, I'm from NWA country, and I mean, I loved WWE. I did. I loved it. But I mean, when I was a kid, we had barbed wire matches, Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA, and like I'll go.
Such great names.
Like, I loved it. Yes, Magnum TA. I remember when he had the motorcycle wreck. That was just Lord. He was such a promising star coming up. To watch him go down like that was just terrible. To watch anybody in the height of their career just have some accident like that just taken away from them. That's just terrible. But like, to be honest, that one wrestler, I'm thinking that one wrestler, it had to be Nikita Koloff. Man, he scared me to death, but man, that bad guy. I've always been a heel fan. I loved the Russian Sickle, and Nikita just scared the death out of me when I was a little boy, but I loved him to death. I don't know how
he was great. Him and the Iron Sheik. What a combination.
Yeah. Oh yeah, him and Iron Sheik was awesome. Yes.
And Iron Sheik is even better when he shows up on the Howard Stern show and he just says a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
I follow him on Twitter just to see what he's going to say.
Oh, and it's crazy stuff. It's completely ridiculous stuff.
It's the most ridiculous thing. I'm like, I can't even get my Twitter to work. But he's just putting in who needs their ass beat today. It's just like, and he's got thousands and thousands of likes. I'm like, how does he do it? That's awesome. Give him a thumbs up to it.
Yeah, it really is. Now, all right, I'm going to bring it back to the music a second, and I'm going to ask you a question about Mushroomhead. I don't want to get rid of the good feelings we're having right now, but you did say in the past that Mushroomhead are bad people, and you hope they die slowly, which is fine. But you did 3 albums with them.
I didn't really mean as people.
Right.
God, let's get this straight first.
No. Okay.
When I said that, a lot of people took that out of context. They didn't really listen to full line. I hope the band died slowly, not the people.
Right. Of course.
I don't wish
of course.
death on anybody.
Right.
I
Of
wish
course.
the X-Face.
But
and now I'm really not really like that anymore. I got over that. Granted, I don't dislike them and I don't like them, if that tells you anything. I don't really have anything for them.
right, you're indifferent.
I wish them well. I'm very indifferent to them.
Right.
What they do is what they do. Good for them. I'm on my side of the world, and I'm way happier. I hope you're on your side of the world, leaving me alone. That's kind of what. But when I said that, I meant it. I did. I'm not going to lie about that. I did. But it really was. I didn't wish him to death. I didn't wish death on anybody. And that kind of pissed me off a little bit that it got took out of context. But it is what it is. You got to watch your mouth when you say something, especially when you're mad like that.
Right.
And I learned that lesson.
And by the way, that's the good thing about this show and our format is that we run the tape as is. So there's no out of context. People will hear it as is. We're not going to edit this up and make it sound like something you didn't say. So you've got that.
Yeah.
But the point I was going to get to is that there was these bitter feelings, and we know that breakups. I mean, okay, fine. But when you got there and you did Save Your Sorrow and you did Beautiful Stories for Ugly Children and at some point there must have been a feeling of, wow, this is great. We're in a band. There must have been some great moments. Can you share some of those? Okay, so what's sort of the greatest one?
Just getting there. And, it's like it wasn't an easy trip for me. Like, this journey for me has never been an easy one. It's always been some kind of strife, some kind of you're not good enough. I took the place of a member. That's hard enough for anybody. That really is. It's a very hard situation for anybody. When you take a place of a singer, 98% of the time, it doesn't work. I was part of that 2%. I made it work. I made it work for over 11 years. I'm happy for that. But there was moments, when I got to go up on stage with Korn when I was with Mushroomhead. That was a moment. Nobody's ever going to take that away from me. That was like a highlight of my career. I got to sing on stage with Korn. Boom. That's awesome. Those are those moments. The getting signed, bam, that was a great moment. Going across the world, people knowing who the hell you are, and you have no clue who the hell they are or where you're at. That's an awesome feeling. But in the day, it's who you work with. You can have the greatest job in the world, but if you can't stand the people you're looking across from, it ain't no fun, and you don't care. You'll turn your best dream into your worst nightmare. If you're not happy with your situation and you're not happy with the people surrounding you, I don't care who you are, you will be miserable. And that's where I was.
Okay, let me ask you this then, just real quick, because I want to stay as positive as possible. But in that misery, was it business misery? Was it personality misery? Was it drug-fueled misery? What was
it was
sort
all
of that?
of it. Drug misery, personality misery, business misery. It was all of it. You do the drugs because financially you're doing well, and you personally can't stand the person standing across from you. So you do the dope, deal with them, to cope. And you're away from your family on top of all that. Just the people that do care about you, you ain't nowhere near them to deal with it.
So it makes it hard. Another thing I want to ask you about that's hard is, you're on the records, you're credited as clean vocal and harsh vocal, and then your singing style has been all over the place from nice melodic to this really rough stuff. As we get older, you and I, things are
yes.
How do you keep up that voice or that ability to do the vocals the way you do? Does it hurt? Do you have to practice? Is it, do you drink tea? What sort of, do you have to change what you're doing?
No, not really. I've had a kind of a style that I learned how to do it, and it's natural. It really is. It's who I am. It's the way if I want to sing pretty, I can sing pretty. I learned that in church. If I want to yell at you, I've got some rage. I have a fire inside me that hell can't touch. And I will let you know that rage is still there. So when I scream, it's there. But I learned, it took me 10 years to develop that. But while I developed it, I also developed it to where I'm not overextending myself and stretching those muscles in my throat.
I learned how to control it to where it doesn't shred me apart. Like somebody who doesn't study up how to do real metal vocals will just destroy themselves if they try to do what I do. It will destroy your voice, and you will not have a voice. And It is very difficult. But I learned along the way how to take care of that, how to stretch it, how to make it work for me, and not always never write something that's beyond your means. Because what is beyond what you're capable of doing, that's when you're in the danger zone. That's when you'll try to hit that note and just shred your voice, and you'll have one.
Yeah. So make the song for. Okay. Gotcha. On the Mushroomhead album, The Righteous and the Butterfly, you guys covered Adele. Rumor has it.
Mm-hmm.
You think of Mushroomhead, you think, okay, they're going to cover Slayer, they're going to cover Metallica, they're going to cover Anthrax. You cover Adele. Talk to me about that choice at that time, and is that something you sit around and listen to? I mean, I know that I go from Cheap Trick to Duran Duran. I mean, okay, so talk to me about that decision then. Okay. There's no great. You don't have an Adele greatest hits. There's no Adele greatest hits in the van right now or in the truck.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing like that in my. No, Lord no. And she's a great artist. Do not get me wrong. I'm not taking away from Adele. It is not my cup of tea. It really isn't. But the thing about it is, I was told to do it. That's how it went. That's Mushroomhead. Do it. You don't have a choice. Do it. That's how it went.
Well, it turned out great. I mean, I'm sure you don't regret it. It shows a different side, different style.
I still would have done something else. I wasn't a big fan of it, to be honest with you. That was like one of the songs I'll skip over if I even choose to listen to that album, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, fair enough. What are sort of the plans for the band? We know that there's another album coming. We've got the 2 singles that just were released on your own label. Where do we go from here for the next 10 months?
Okay, well, I just signed with Mark Abramson. He is my new management. We are talking with other labels right now, bigger labels. I'm not going to go into detail because I'm not going to jinx myself on any one of these labels. They're actually interested, so I'm not going to, we're signing. No, we're nothing to that point yet, but we are talking to that. I'm getting ready to head to L.A., go and record some new songs for the new album with Sahaj again, and go do work with the same guy that I just did I Wish and Angel with. Going to go back to L.A. I'm going to do that and pretty much tour and record album. That's it. And just keep that process up the entire time. As soon as I'm done doing this album, I'm going to start thinking about the next one. I'm not even going to think about anything beyond that. And next month, I'm recording the video for Angel on the Outside. There you go. There you go. That's as much as I know right now.
and just quickly, the label, the AKC Global, is that something that was just done for Angel on the Outside and I Wish, or is that something that you want?
No, that's my business. Okay. That's just my business label. That's just my business, my LLC that runs my business. I just put it out under it. And because I wanted to do that. I just wanted to put it out. And I did. But that's the thing. Next November, I'll be releasing another single. That's how this is going to work. Every winter, I will release. We released A Killer's Confession, the song. Then we did Unbroken. Killer's Confession was on that, but we had released it prior. And we put that, which I might put Angel on the Outside and I Wish on the next album. I might just do that as bonus tracks. But every November, I'm going to release a new single. Even no matter what, I will release a new single for for the winter, just for people to have something new from us.
That's an interesting strategy, I have to say. Just sort of a little something to look forward to every November for fans. That's great.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to, and plus, it keeps AKC relevant. There's always something new, always.
And that's
you don't have to wait. Like with Mushroomhead, they have not released anything since I left the group back in 2015. It's 2018. I've already released an album, singles, videos, and I'm moving forward. I was from that group where we didn't do squat but played the same set every night for years upon years. I ain't living that lifestyle anymore. I'm going to change everything as fast as I can, as quick as I can, just to change it. Just so the fans don't know what's coming.
Well, that's one
Because
thing.
as a fan,
Well, I'm going to agree with you because as a fan, when I go see a band like Kiss or Metallica, well, Metallica changes set list, but when you go see Kiss and it's been the same set list since 1976, you go, eh, you know, Bon Jovi's coming to town. They're charging $300 for tickets, and I thought I'm going to go, and I said, you know what, $300 to see Wanted Dead or Alive again? Meh, I'll pass.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you know?
You want people to be like, what are they going to play this time? Like half the time I'll be on stage. Like in granted, Killers Convention, we only have one album. You don't even know what order I'm playing in. Sometimes I'll be like, what do you want to hear? I'll even ask the fans. Be like, hey, forget the list. We're playing what they want to hear from here on out. We'll do it in their order. What song you hear? First person yell loud enough, I'll play it.
What
just
if they
to do it?
What if they shout out Adele titles? Will you no.
I guess I'll do some acapella. Rumor has
it. There you go.
I mean,
yeah.
have fun with it. Like seriously, because somebody did do that. Somebody screamed out one night, "Save Us" from Mushroomhead. I broke out acapella singing "Save Us."
See, got to give the fans what they want. And see, that's why I think bands like
give the fans what they want.
I was just gonna say that's why I think bands and artists like Pearl Jam, Cheap Trick, Bruce Springsteen, where you show up and you never know what you're gonna get. That's what sort of keeps it exciting. And I wish more bands had that mentality and that vision.
Well, as an artist, it keeps me excited because I was in that group to where I had to. I went to the factory to be kind about it. I went to the factory. I went to work. I punched in. I punched out. I did the same thing every day. The only thing that changed was what city I was in. That is boring. That is a monotonous, drive you crazy lifestyle. And I ain't even joking. That shit will drive you crazy.
I can imagine.
Crazy. It will. Monotony is the worst. Other than with your woman, it's the worst thing you can do. If you live the same life, if you eat the same stuff, you're going to get tired of it, and you're going to be like, bleh, I want something different. And that's where I'm at right now. I want something different. That's why I say it doesn't matter what style it is. If it moves me, we're doing it. Because that's what it's about. I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this to gain accolades and fans. I'm doing this so my soul is satisfied with what I'm doing because it hasn't been for years.
Yeah, and see, and that's a great vision to have, and you're right. If you wake up every morning or at lunch it's pizza every lunch for the rest of your life, at some point you're just going to hate pizza. And
yes, I hate pizza. I do. I had it every night after a show. Don't bring me a pizza. Bring me a sub or something. Some chicken wings. Maybe something different. Some shrimp.
That's great. I certainly hope we get to see AKC up in Canada at some point. And Waylon, just a great
We've
chat.
Been there once.
Well, you need to come
We've
back.
Been there one time. We will come back. We're actually talking about it right now. Also talking about doing Europe. We're trying to really blossom this band at the same time. So, I have to eat crab sandwich everywhere, because I had to start back down low. I'm not on the Mushroomhead level. I'm not. AKC is a opening, baby band. And I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put the work in again. I worked my butt off one time. That don't stop it. Work ethic's a work ethic. I'm willing to put my nose back to the grindstone and work just as hard to get back where I was.
Yeah, and that's the only way to do it. And of course, you need to start your wrestling career and then really take it more seriously. But great pleasure. Absolutely great pleasure talking to you today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show. Definitely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And let's talk again when the next new album comes out.
We'll be. We're looking at May. So there you go. We're definitely we're striving for it. And here's the name of that: The Indifference of Good Men.
Indifference of Good Men?
Yes, The Indifference of Good Men.
Ah, fantastic. We've got a nugget to run with. Thank you, sir. And please reach out in May. Let's do something else.
We will. We definitely will. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. Cheers. Have a good one.
Cheers. You too.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're listening to Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon. Rock Talk.